Having now presented to a panel of dragons to pitch for finance, what would be your recommendations of kind of do's and don'ts for any entrepreneur who is looking for funding?
Do be very clear about your messages. Think in your mind about the key messages you want to say, and say it very succinctly and methodically. Don'ts are fidgeting, saying umming and ahhing a lot. You need to be real clear about what you're going to say, what your key messages are. And don't be afraid that some of the judges may disagree with you, because fundamentally there could be a misalignment in terms of what they're looking for. You have to believe in the idea yourself, and you have to be passionate about it, and that will then come across in your presentation. And don't worry, keep up with the faith and keep going.
Thank you, Mark. Jess, have you got anything to add?
Other recommendations from me would be in terms of presenting a coherent brand across the team and through your presentation. So we had branded t-shirts, which helped a lot. Also, when you're answering questions from the judges, we saw some teams that used slides to try and support this, which actually detracted from the team's ability to engage with the judges. There will be judges who don't agree with what you are saying, and you need to use your time in responding to those questions very, very carefully. And if you're not able to respond in the way that they want, simply move on to the next question. And the management of the judges in that way is really, really critical. Another recommendation would be to quickly identify who's the judge that does like this as an idea and engage them in the conversation, because actually they will start talking amongst themselves in terms of whether this is a good idea or not.
In terms of the structure for the presentation, any recommendations on that front? What should be covered and do's and don'ts?
The articulation of what your business idea is needs to be very, very succinct, and that needs to be done in the first 30 seconds. If someone does not understand why you're standing in front of them in the first 30 seconds, you will lose them. You then need to make sure you cover the key areas, but don't go into too much detail, because judges will then come back to ask questions about what they want to know more about. The finances, it always comes down to finance at the end of the day, and they need to be put across very, very clearly and again very succinctly. They don't want to know a huge amount of detail in your presentation, but they will come back for those underpinning detail areas that they want in the question and answers.
So if you would say, because you mentioned the main components of a presentation, what and the financials and the business idea, the opportunity, what else needs to go into, because you mentioned it's a very short presentation, you only have 10-20 minutes to do that. What other aspect needs to be included?
Taking them through the journey of the customer. So if you have the type of service or product you're offering, take them through the journey. Walk them through how does the client or the customer experience your brand. How do they actually get to it? And walk them through if they were in the shoes of the client or customer. And the other thing too is having a good focus on operations and supply chain. So it's great you have this great brand image and idea, but how are you actually going to deliver it? Be very clear about whether your internal processes and procedures and production, or that of the suppliers you might rely on, to make sure you give extra confidence. Say you can not only have a great idea, but then you can deliver that idea, and you have the base to do that.